So how the band came together was initially we had other players. Um, the band initially started with myself and my friend Jessica Horman and myself just getting together and jamming for a while out of fun. And eventually we got a batch of songs together and we got a few other uh, ragtag players. It was a really odd bunch, and the music itself was nothing like what the Crowlings sound like today. It was more of an eclectic, um, Velvet Underground type of sound. It was not fast and loud like it is now. So we did that, and it was not serious, and we did that for about a year and a half, and we made an album, and then Rusty entered the picture at some point. I was sitting outside of my house and I was playing guitar, just enjoying the sunny weather. And Rusty had been riding his bike in front of my house and he just did a 360. And he came around to the door and he said, "Hey, you play guitar and stuff like that." And I said, "Yeah, and he said, "I play guitar too." So I was like, "Okay," and I handed him an acoustic and not really thinking anything would happen or become of it, but he whipped out some really cool solos and stuff like that, and very intricate things, and I knew right away that this dude had, like natural talent. So I was like, my band, the Crowlings, we don't need another guitar player. However, we have an opening for a bass player. And would you be interested in hopping on the bass? And so that's what happened. Now, at some point, with that first group of people, everyone quit. They wanted to do other things. People got married. People went on with their lives, and so at some point, it was just Rusty and I sitting in the basement going, well, what do we do? Do we keep the name, or do we change the name and start from scratch? Well, we decided, let's just keep the name. I had came up with the Crowlings name, and I liked it, so let's keep it. And we've been sitting around, just Rusty and I, jamming on acoustic guitars, wondering what to do next. We felt like everyone had just jumped ship and it was just him and I. And then an interesting thing happened. The George Floyd riots happened. And that was an interesting experience because that's my hometown. In fact, that's my actual neighborhood where I grew up as a little boy. So on the second night, I convinced Rusty to go with me to the site, Lake Street, and where it all happened at ground zero of the George Floyd riots. And I saw the 3rd Precinct go down, and I saw the flames, and I saw buildings everywhere you look at fire. But it was an interesting experience. It changed my life in several ways. But I came out of that experience, I remember distinctly looking around and this profound effect it had on me personally. I was like, okay, well, it's time to do something that I love and just go for it. The time is now to put 110% into the band, because previously I dedicated my life to being an artist, painting in oils and all kinds of mediums, but I was an artist and just not a serious musician. But I thought at that point I wanted to get serious about being a musician and really taking this as far as I can with the songs that had been writing with Rusty and everything, and so that's what we did. We just got serious. We decided to go for it with the band, 110%. And so at that point, Rusty and I decided, let's work with the drum machine, let's get our amplifiers, the Marshall stacks and the big amplifiers, let's drag everything out and crank it up to 10. We didn't have a drummer at that time, it was just Rusty and I. And so what we would do is take out this drum machine and we would play all of our songs with the drum machine. And we would just crank it up and shake the house. And so we would make these little videos and we would go live on Facebook. And eventually our drummer Todd had seen the videos of us jamming live, and he contacted us. He said, hey, you guys are really good. I dig your songs and I've been watching you guys, but you need a drummer. And so we had been looking high and low for a drummer, and everyone turned us down. And we had looked everywhere in the planet for a drummer, and everyone turned us down. Finally, a drummer, one of the best drummers that I had ever heard, a world-class drummer, got in touch with us and said, hey, I like your stuff. That was a life changer. That changed everything. We went from being a basement band, just a little duo creating songs, to all of a sudden we have a real band. And we started immediately rehearsing with Todd, and from the first note, it sounded off the charts like what you hear today. There was no learning curve. It sounded great from day one. So we found Todd, he found us actually, and we became an actual real band. And we put together our set of songs and we rehearsed our butts off and dedicated our lives to the Crow Wings. And we came up with a batch of songs that kicked ass. And our sound is fast and loud and furious, and we took no prisoners. The sound is just amazingly huge, and you know, it seems to resonate with people, because once we started making these videos for our new songs, things took off pretty fast. We would start having 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 3,000 views, 4,000 views, 5,000 views, 6,000 views, and it just, you know, things got interesting at that point. You know, things started to really take off with the Crow Wings. And, you know, with the COVID happening, everything was shut down, and so we had no choice but to make these little videos and do everything else we can and keep doing live streams on Facebook. And that's how we connected around the world with all these fans who loved punk, rock, and loved loud music, fast and loud the way we love it. And so we found out that we're not alone. There's a lot of people that love the music that we do too. And so it was at that point that we started, you know, really connecting with people. And that brings us to our latest album, which is technically the second album, but I actually consider it the Crow Wings' first album. It's called Fast and Loud, because that's what we do. And it's no compromises, you know, it's just our amps are cranked at 10 and our fucking tempos are ruthless. And we sing about fun, you know, we bring the fun back to punk rock. We all grew up in different types of music, but ultimately when we get together, it's like a sonic wave, it's like a tidal wave. And that's why we call this album Fast and Loud. And it's coming out soon, and we're hoping that you enjoy it. And so far, that's the history of us. We'll see you soon.